Hey, Angie. Thank you for joining. Let me see. How do I wave back? So I'm just waiting, I guess, a minute or so before I get started. How are you? Hey, Tanika. Thank you for getting on, even though you don't feel good. Well, I'm glad you called it, Angie. This one gonna be good. All right, so I'm gonna get started. I don't think I'll be on that long, but we're gonna get started. Today I want to talk about being Superwoman, and what that feels like. But before I get started, my name is Samantha Edu. I am a licensed professional counselor here in the wonderful state of Georgia. I am a wife and mother of 3 beautiful daughters. I work full time, and I'm also the clinician at Therapy for Ladies online private practice, where I provide individual counseling, some couples counseling, and mother-daughter counseling on a HIPAA compliant online therapy platform. I'm on live right now through Instagram and the Ladies Raising Ladies Facebook page. I would love for you all to take a visit to the Ladies Raising Ladies Facebook page. It's a group that was created to just have a space where moms who are raising girls can go to and just really, I mean, it's talking about raising kids in general, but there are some specific things that we talk about in the group that are specific to moms raising girls. And the goal of that is just to create generational mental wealth by addressing those issues that have been passed down from generation to generation to generation. And if we can stop those things and we have enough courage to stop them with our daughters, then it's going to be stopped, and we will stop that curse. It won't go to our daughters and their daughters and their daughters, and we'll start creating some really mentally wealthy families. And that's the goal of Therapy for Ladies. Each week I come on for Let's Talk Tuesday, and I bring a subject that just kind of mirrors the goal of creating generational mental wealth. And this is for any lady. And so this week, the discussion is going to be on the Superwoman persona. If you look back into, I think I've been doing this since the beginning of February or the last week of January. Either way, it started out with creating generational mental wealth and what that means. And you'll see, different blog posts related to that. We did a generational rule of silence. And in those blog posts, there are some freebies there. I have some fillable handouts, like a self-reflection worksheet, and also an I am worksheet that you can use to go along with the Creating Generational Mental Wealth platform. Now, on into tonight's Let's Talk Tuesday. Now, if you know me, or if you've been following Therapy for Ladies, then you know that Therapy for Ladies used to be Lady and Her Hats, which is so funny. I was talking to a client the other day, and we were talking about people that wear a lot of hats, things like that. And I was just, after it, I was just doing some self-reflection on where I've come from, and just kind of thankful that no matter what, it was Lady and Her Hats and then became Therapy for Ladies. But regardless, it was always about the power of the woman. It was always about how the power runs deep, and it's from generation to generation. So the power of the woman started not just with me, long ago, and it has created this superwoman-like persona. You see it everywhere in social media, marketing, slogans, movies, books, everywhere, every coach, therapist, women's therapist, I mean, everybody talks about the Superwoman persona. Now, usually when you hear about the Superwoman persona, it's usually about like feeling like we need to be Superwoman, feeling like we need to do all and be all because of how we were raised or how the generations were brought up. It's just ingrained in us to do that, right? But today I want to talk about it in a different way. When you think about Superwoman, like there are times when I really feel like I have on a cape. Like I literally feel like I have on a cape and it's cute and it's probably blinged out, and I just be thinking like to myself, you know, hey, I got my cape on. Nobody else can see it, but I got it on. You know, I feel like that some days, like I have on a cape. Well, there are other days when I feel like if I had on a cape, it's probably got chili food stains on it. It's probably got holes in it. Probably have the S on, so backwards. It's a hot mess of a cape, right? But either way, I feel like I have on a cape. So this past weekend, I was hanging this picture, like it's really small, like the size of this, half of this, right? So it's a really small picture. I was hanging it on the wall behind the toilet in our guest bathroom. And so I hung it. The girls were helping me hang it, so we were all right there. And all of a sudden, I stepped back, and this picture falls. And when the picture fell, it broke the pipe that the pipe from the toilet to the wall broke in half, and water went everywhere. I mean, it was like a waterfall, like nothing I had ever seen, right? So I couldn't believe what was happening. I couldn't believe this little picture did this. And then, mind you, the picture was glass and it didn't break. But that's another blog. So yes, Angie. So I immediately started yelling to the girls to go get some towels and blankets because it was water everywhere. The kitchen, the bathroom, everywhere. So I started running around the house looking for the main shut-off valve. I've never looked for it before. We've been in this house maybe 3 years, 2-3 years, something like that. And I have never needed it. So I didn't know where to look. I mean, nowhere. So I threw on my rain boots, and it was raining outside Saturday. I ran outside and was like, I knew that there might be the little thing in the ground with the thing, and you could turn it and turn your water off, or turn your water on if the water company come turn it off. But I knew that there might be somewhere out there. And so I found it like in the backyard, and I'm digging in the mud trying to open it. Finally, I get it open and it's locked. So I ran all the way back to the house, and my oldest came outside and was like, Mommy, the basement is flooding. So we have 3 stories. So it's the kitchen where the little bathroom is, and then right underneath that is our basement, where we have a storage, a guest room, and then my office. So I was like, oh no, I ran downstairs, and the basement, everything, it was like raining in the basement. All the pipes was just, I don't even know. It was just water soaking up all the boxes, the picture, everything in there. So the girls, when I got to the basement, I saw that my oldest had instructed the younger 2 to start pulling out boxes. So they were pulling boxes into the hallway. And the middle one was helping to pull the boxes. Then she went up to fix them some lunch. I guess she was like, we gotta eat. And then the little one was passing out these jackets with hoods on them because, you know, we can put the hood over our head. It made sense to her at the time. So after, and mind you, they did all this and it didn't matter to me because the water was still, this was about 20 minutes of pure water just flying out the wall. So after about 20 minutes, I made myself stop. Like I made myself stop and just look around because I was freaking out. And so I went back into the basement and I looked around and I saw like almost at the top of the ceiling these 2 handles. So I climbed in a chair and was like, Lord, please let this be the handle. So I turned them, and the kids had gone upstairs, and they were like, it's off, it's off. So I was like, oh, hallelujah. So here, like, this next part is when I knew I was going to have to write about this. Because as soon as they said it was off, almost immediately I ran outside. It was like I had to get out. I had to go outside and, like, just shake and allow my body to just calm down, because there was so much adrenaline. Like, I needed to do some deep breathing, and my goal was I just had to run outside. But I remember thinking to myself, I needed to get away from the girls. Like, I needed to get out and I needed to be by myself so that I can breathe and just calm down and keep doing the work I needed to do. Now, this is the stuff that they do not show you on TV. This is not the stuff when you watch Superwoman long ago. She was not doing this stuff. She just was out there fighting and being awesome and fabulous. But they don't show you that. This is the stuff that real life is made out of. Like, this is the stuff that go outside and just felt like I was about to pass out, like, because it was so much adrenaline. That's the stuff that real life is made out of. That's the stuff that makes a superhero. So I went back in the house. I assessed the damage. I was so sad. I was still shaking. I just started going through some of the stuff, right? So I'm giving you the short version. After all this, I'm going through my stuff, and I'm like, Lord, I realized that not only was the storage room, the guest room had flooded. My office that I use, like right now, you guys, I have these cameras set so you cannot see the disaster. But it is a disaster in here. Like, my couch is not, pictures are off the wall because the ceiling was leaking over here. So it's a hot mess. But in all of that, I want to share with you guys what made me feel like Superwoman out of this. I know it's a long story, but hang in there. After the plumber got here, we went to the grocery store, me and the girls. On the way, they were quiet, and I asked them, how are you guys doing? How are y'all doing? That was pretty scary. And so they paused, and they began to tell me that they were scared, and I saw them take a deep breath. And then I said to them, it was sort of like they were waiting for an opportunity to share that experience, to share their feelings, or for somebody to say, you okay? Like, it was waiting. It felt like they were waiting for permission to say, "Ooh, yeah, that was scary," right? So I said to them, I was pretty freaked out. I hope I didn't freak you guys out. So my oldest said to me, I couldn't tell at all. You were so calm. It was almost scary, right? So when you hear that, you might think to yourself, oh, that's when she felt like Superwoman. Because my daughter said, you look so calm on the outside. I couldn't even tell that you were freaked out. I couldn't tell. And she said it was so scary how calm you were, right? So you would think, oh, well, she held it together. That's what made her Superwoman. No, here's what made me Superwoman. I laughed and I said, well, that's good to know. I'm really glad it looked like I was calm on the outside, because maybe that helped you guys to be calm. But I was so nervous. I wanted to cry once I found the shut off. Hey, Rakita. I was so nervous, and I told her I was calm on the outside, but on the inside, I was just a hot mess, right? So she then said, okay, like she couldn't believe it. So then I thank them for being my heroes. I thank them because of what they saw in me is what I saw in them. I thank them for being their own heroes in their own way, with the little one passing out coats and the other one fixing the lunch and getting the stuff out and just not freaking out on me. So all that to say, in this, there were so many lessons about why it was important to to see what made me be a superhero. Because we're all of us women are superheroes, but we need to see what's making us be the superhero. It's not giving of yourself until you don't have anything left to give. It's not doing for others even though they're treating you like crap or not appreciating or not respecting your boundaries. It's not allowing yourself to be run over. It's not allowing yourself to just be silent. These are not the things that make you Superwoman. It's those times when you're able to be vulnerable. I did not feel like Superwoman until I said to my daughter, man, I was scared. Man, I was freaked out. Thank you. Like, thank you guys. Not just me. I didn't save the day. Thank you guys for just being so helpful, for pulling those boxes so that our stuff wouldn't get ruined. Like, thank you guys. That is what made me feel like Superwoman. So today's talk is so important to me because I know what it feels like to go day to day to day, running. And then you have this self-expectation that this is what you're supposed to do. Like, I am supposed to be this tired. If I'm not this tired, then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Or if I take this nap, oh man, if I take this nap, then something's not going to get done. Or, I'm going to miss out on something. Or I should be doing this, all 100 things that, we have to do. Like, there is a time when we have to stop and just say, you know what? This is what Superwoman for me is going to look like. Superwoman is going to be okay with being afraid. Superwoman is going to be badass and still saving the day. Superwoman is going to be vulnerable afterwards enough to say, dang, that was so scary. Whoa, that was a lot. I'm going to be Superwoman enough because I have Supergirls back here that I'm raising. And in order for me to create generational mental wealth, I have to be able to look back at them and say, man, you guys are my superheroes today. Even though that was scary, even through this scary experience, you guys were my superheroes. So that they can see I can still be a superhero and be vulnerable. I can still be a superhero and go outside and get some time to myself so that I can reflect and calm down. I can still be a superhero and save the day and then wait and sit and rest. I can still do all of these things. And that is what I want you to take away from this today. It's okay to be a superhero, but define what type of superhero you want to be. And that's what this whole episode did for me. Now, of course, it's a plenty of sermons and blog posts I can get out of this little picture shutting off this valve and the water pouring out. But today was all about how much I was so appreciative of my daughters and the way that they experienced that with me, because it was scary and they were just open. And the one thing that I did notice was the fact that they waited for permission to share that experience with me, right? So that's one thing I took for myself to say, wow, I don't want them to feel like they have to wait for me to open up the door. Hey, Carol, I don't want them to feel like they have to wait for me to open up the door for them to share their experiences. Like, would they have said, would they have said it was scary if I didn't say anything? That's the type of superhero. That's what I'm trying to get them not to do. That's what I'm trying to get myself not to do. But I understand it took me some time to get there. So now I want to go back and say, hey, when the flood happened, you guys could have just come and told me how scary it was. You didn't have to just experience that by yourself. You didn't have to feel like you needed to just be brave alone. Just come and open up the door. So this is how you open up the doors of communication in these types of situations. This is how I plan to show up as Superwoman for my daughters, by being vulnerable, saving the day, and being okay when I need to just sit back and rest and rejuvenate and come back good. Because if I can't do that, then I'm not a superhero. I'm not a superwoman. I'm tired, like another level, another species of tired. And that's no good to them or myself. So thank you guys for joining. Let's Talk Tuesday tonight. I will be on every single Tuesday at 8 o'clock with a new Let's Talk Tuesday. And of course, I will also be sending out a blog post that will reflect what we talked about today and some good posts. You can see that blog at www.therapyforladies.com, where you can also sign up to get blog posts. And also, if you are interested in therapy sessions, sign up for a consultation and we can just talk a minute and see if that will be right or a good fit for you. Thank you again. I hope y'all all have a good evening. I appreciate you for joining, and I will see you next Tuesday.